Hello, Bob.
Hey, Greg, can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Okay,
How's everything going?
great. Beautiful day in Albuquerque.
Overcasty as hell here.
Now we got sunshine, 91 degrees today. Beautiful, nice and dry.
Very, very nice. Wouldn't you know, when we were there, we went the week before Memorial Day, figuring, well, there won't be any crowds or anything like that. Hell, it was 105 everywhere we went.
Yeah, May. It happened. In May, we've had 100-degree days in May. But
How you doing, Ted? How's it going?
Not bad for a man of my age and condition, Greg.
Well, look, it doesn't make any difference anymore. We're all in that category one way or another. So,
This is cool, but doesn't anybody miss the drive over there to the meeting?
I don't know whether they missed it or not. It's nice to not have to spend that extra 30, 40 minutes getting there. There's one thing of that. And then in my case, for the last 2 or 3 years, I've always, because Corky can't drive anymore, I always swung by and picked him up every time. And then he almost always hit me up to help him do a little shopping after the fact. So I don't miss that so much.
I used to take Corky over to the ham radio meeting every month. I only live a couple of miles from him.
Okay. Ray, are you online? We just don't see a picture. Can't tell. I see his name on the list, but I don't see him there. So what's going on, guys? Anything special going on?
nothing exciting here.
Did you watch the the keynote from the Worldwide Developers Conference?
I didn't. I find most of that techie nonsense. And wait till the dust settles, then I know what we have.
Well, since people are always a little slow about joining us, I figured right at 9 o'clock I've got a 7-minute version of of Monday's meeting that I thought I'd play. That was pretty good. It's interesting. There's some, as usual, the Mac kind of takes back seat to it, but it looks like they may be getting it together a little bit. So let's hope so.
Greg, I'm a Mac guy. I'm not an iPhone guy. I'm not an iPad guy. I have an iPad, but I don't want to use for reading books. It's a nice toy, but I'm always I'm frozen in the past in some sense. I still use iPhoto. I still use Pages 9 because they were superior to the new versions.
Right.
And at my age, if they do away with the ability to run those on a platform, I'll stop there. I won't go to that platform.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I'd love, well, I guess it's up to a company that's as big as they are, but it's tough to get involved in. It's like getting involved in Aperture. Luckily, I never got too serious into it, but I bought it, and now it's not really being supported anymore. That kind of bugs me. And iWeb, for a quick and dirty web-based program, it works great. Won't run under this operating system. The last operating system that iWeb would successfully, it's not that it won't start, but a lot of the stuff doesn't work in it. The last version, the last operating system that successfully worked at was Maverick.
Yeah.
And that's kind of unfortunate. So I wasn't really doing any web design for anybody else anymore. I thought, well, basically I just needed to maintain the club site occasionally, although I keep saying I'm going to redo it. And so I ended up with a third party. I ended up with a USB drive that I put it on, and then I would boot to that drive, go make whatever changes I did, and then get out, because I was only doing it for like maybe an hour a month, no big deal. So then finally on this Mac, I partitioned this drive, gave myself a 50 gig Maverick partition out of my 500 gig SSD drive here on this Mac, on this laptop. And that worked okay. But then again, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, there's 50 gigs I can't use for anything else, Yeah. And by golly, here a few weeks ago, the SanDisk people, I don't know where I got the ad. I got the ad probably from one of the many websites that if they're going to send out a notice or whatever it is, I go ahead and sign up for it or whatever. And the SanDisk people make a 128 gig USB 3 flash drive that's about this big. I'll show it here when we get a few more people. I've got it. And they were on sale for like $10 a piece or $9 a piece, whatever the hell it was, plus shipping. Unfortunately, I only bought 2 because I thought, well, that'll do the job. And if it works well, I'll go ahead and put Mavericks on one of those as an operating system. And that way I can leave it plugged in all the time. On this Mac, because I was using it for company work for a long time, I bought one of the Belkin Thunderbolt port expansion blocks. And so I've got that plugged in. That gives me like 3 USB slots and a FireWire 800 spot, which I use, and a couple of Thunderbolt ports, which I don't use for anything else at the moment. And then one of those USBs is plugged into a USB expansion because I've got 4 or 5 USB drives that I didn't like the idea of having to unplug one and plug another one in.
Well, while you're on that topic, what type of drive, like a hub, you're talking about a hub that has multiple connection ports?
Yeah, what about it? Sorry, go ahead.
I never realized there was such an animal.
Yeah, Belkin makes it, and there's 2 or 3 companies that make the Thunderbolt expansion ports, and they're not cheap. This was about $200, I guess, something like that. But I thought, you know, the drawback always was that I'd take the computer to work every day, and when I come home, I'd plug in 4 or 5 different things to it. Well, now I plug in the power, and I bought an extra power supply just to leave it here. And so now I plug in the power and plug in the Thunderbolt port expansion and open the laptop up, and boom, I'm up and connected to everything without unplug and plug and unplug and plug in again. So that works out pretty slick from that standpoint. So I've really enjoyed having that. That's really made a convenience. But what I was getting at is I took the 2 USB 3 spots that are available on this laptop. Because I'm using the expansion port, I hardly ever use them unless I was out on the road somewhere, you know, out at the customers or something. And so I've now plugged these two little flash drives into these USB 3 slots here on the Mac. And one of them, I partitioned it to a 50 gig partition to give myself some breathing space and put Maverick on it. And then I call the rest of it extras just because I don't know what else to call it. And on the second one I've got plugged in, I named it Photos Backup. And so even though I'm still using Carbonite on a regular basis and Time Machine, which I really like for the most part, I got myself into a situation a few years ago where I screwed up and just about lost my photos. I mean, I had them backed up. I had them on DVDs, and I had them 40 different ways. And I'm just getting ready to start scanning in I got about 50,000 slides, and I'm going to selectively go through, but I'll probably get to scan in probably a fifth of them. And I just wanted to make sure that what I had was pretty rock solid. So I've taken one of these 128 gig flash drives, because they stick out maybe 1/4 of an inch at the most on the laptop. And I'm using Carbon Copy Cloner, and every night at 2 a.m. it backs up just the pictures folder. Even though it's being backed up by Time Machine, and it's being backed up by Carbonite, and it's being backed up in iCloud, I'm just a little paranoid. I have it being backed up on that flash drive as well.
Yeah, I got 5 drives that I clone in rotation. One's in the safe deposit box. I'm paranoid too.
Now, that's a good idea. There's nothing wrong with it. I do that once, probably about every other month or so. I'll make a clone onto an old drive that I'm not using so much, that I've got it just in case, you know. So, well, we got a few other people. We got Janine. Janine, how you doing? Well, I guess she hasn't got microphone or anything set up yet. She's just starting to get connected up. And Joe Hansen's joining us, and Joan Tree or Try, is she from your group, Bob?
Joan Nye?
Yes.
I don't see anybody on the screen. They look like they're trying to sign on, but they haven't succeeded. There's somebody.
Give me a moment. John Foley's calling. Hey, John.
Hey, I want to take that code that I got the other day for Zoom.
I'll send you a link right now.
I don't know.
All right, thank you.
Hey, hang on a second, guys. I'm going to send Foley a link here.
Hey, Linda, can you hear us?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay.
Linda, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Greg. Uh-oh, who did we lose? We lost Joe, huh?
I'm here.
Oh,
No picture.
oh, there, okay.
Let's on with the show.
So how you doing, Ray?
I'm well. I had a hard time getting the audio to work. I had video, but then finally I got it on. So we're in good shape now.
Yeah, Harry. I used this. I just bought this cheap wireless headphone set here a few weeks back, a couple of months back, I guess. Went to use it this morning. Every time I tested the audio on it, I'd say hello, and I'd get back. What the hell is this? Now, luckily, I've got a USB wired one as a spare, just in case, my original one. And I thought, well, I wonder if it could be as stupid as turn it off and turn it back on. Sure as hell, that was it. You can't win no matter what.
Well, at least you fixed it easily.
Well, that's true. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and play that while we're still getting people connecting up. I'm going to go ahead and play that. It was put out by Mac Rumors. They took the keynote from Monday, the 2-hour and 10-minute keynote, and edited it down to 7 minutes. It pretty much gives you everything you want, so I'm going to go ahead and share that so you guys can see that while we're waiting for people to connect up.
From the developer conference, right?
From the developer conference, yeah. Do you see that screen there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mac Rumors.
Don't hear any audio from it.
Oh, okay. Let's see what's going on there. It's playing at my end. That doesn't mean anything.
Anyway, the reason why you see my name Mac is because that's the name of the account that I use on my computer. So anyway,
Okay. Let's see.
Some people are having problems getting their video hooked up.
Yeah, I haven't figured that one out yet.
Can you see me, Greg?
Who was that was talking?
John.
I don't see. I hear you.
I got my top to my MacBook Pro open, but
Oh, there we go, John. Yeah, we got you now.
okay. Thank you.
hey John, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
All right.
Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too.
How's the Hackintosh doing for you?
Real good.
Excellent.
It brings up a question. Stock went down over $6 yesterday. How come?
Yeah, that's interesting. I wasn't watching it yesterday. You got me. Why that would happen? All right, I'm going to try this video one more time. If this don't work, we'll just pass on it. So hang on. Let me know if it's playing, if the audio's playing.
Negative.
Is the audio working?
Negative.
Okay.
It isn't on mine.
No.
Still no audio.
Really? That's weird. All right, let me try one more lame thing.
Lame thing.
Is a Siri watch face, which gives proactive updates throughout the day.
There it is.
There it is.
Home, movies,
Volume.
many different cards can be shown here and acted upon. There's also a new kaleidoscope face and a Woody, Jessie, and Buzz Lightyear face. Woody on the Apple Watch has also been updated with more personalized coaching, monthly challenges. The workout app has a new UI with new workout types. You can do multiple workouts in one session, and gym machines now also support two-way communication between the Apple Watch to give you more accurate tracking. Finally, the music app has been redesigned to be focused on what you listen to. There are many smaller updates with this release, and the developer preview will be out today with a free upgrade for everyone in the fall. The third thing is Mac. Apple introduced the next version of Mac OS called High Sierra. It features a faster Safari with autoplay blocking and tracking prevention. Also, Mail now has search improvements and split view for composed windows. And Mail now uses 35% less disk space than before. Photos is also updated with new organization tools. Faces are being synced across devices, and updated photo editing with curves, selective color, and third-party support. High Sierra also features the new Apple file system, which is faster and more secure. On the video side of things, H.265 is now natively supported, and there is a big improvement to graphics with Metal 2. This is significantly faster and has support for features like machine learning, external graphics, and VR. macOS High Sierra is available today for developers as a beta and will be out for free for everyone in the fall for all systems that currently support. Then Apple talked about the iMac. It's now updated with a new brighter display, Kaby Lake processor, up to 64 gigabytes of RAM, standard Fusion drives on the 27-inch model, faster SSDs, 2 USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports, and better graphics. And they are powerful enough for VR, which ILM demoed. Then Apple announced updates to the MacBook and MacBook Pro with Kaby Lake processors. The MacBook Pros also get faster SSDs and graphics, and a price cut to the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Finally, Apple gave a sneak peek at a new iMac Pro. This is a space gray high-end iMac with up to an 18-core Xeon processor, AMD Radeon Vega graphics, up to 128 gigabytes of memory, up to 4 terabytes of SSD, and 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports. It starts at $5,000 and will be available in December. Now, the fourth thing Apple talked about was iOS 11. This latest update has new features in Messages, with a new app drawer and Messages in iCloud, so they are synced between devices. Apple Pay is now person-to-person in Messages as well, and Siri has a new voice, new interface, and new features for translation and syncing across devices. The camera was also updated with new HEVC and HEIF formats for photos and video. There's also improved portrait mode, and there's a new depth API for developers. And live photos also have updates with new controls like looping. There's also a major redesign to the control center. Now there is only one page with 3D touch support to see more content. And the lock screen and notification center have merged into one. Maps also gets an update with detailed floor plans for malls and airports, and there are improvements to navigation. Importantly, there's a new feature called Do Not Disturb while driving, which blocks notifications while driving to help prevent distracted driving. There's a strong update as well with support for features in AirPlay 2, which comes with multi-audio. And in Apple Music, you can now see what your friends are listening to, as well as music hits for Apple Music integration into third-party apps. The App Store has also been fully redesigned with a new Today tab for information on different apps, a new Game tab, and a new App tab. Metal 2 is also coming to iOS, and there is support for machine learning for developers and a new AR kit for augmented reality. And this will help developers implement AR into their apps easily. iOS 11 beta is out today for developers and will be out for free in the fall for everyone. The fifth thing Apple talked about was the iPad, and it introduced a new 10.5-inch iPad Pro. It has a larger screen with smaller bezels, so it's still small and light, coming in at 1 pound. The iPad Pros now also have a brighter True Tone display with something called Pro Motion. This supports a 120 Hz refresh rate, which gives smoother motion and better Apple Pencil support. On the inside, the iPad Pros are powered by a new 6-core A10X processor with a 12-core GPU. On the back, the iPad Pro has the iPhone 7 camera system, and it now has USB 3 with faster charging over Lightning. There are also new cases to hold the iPad Pro, and they start at 64 gigabytes of memory. They can be ordered today starting at $649 for the 10.5-inch model, and they will be shipping next week. Apple then talked about an update to iOS 11 specifically for the iPad. It now has a new dock for moving between apps, and it has better multitasking with a new app switcher. Also, there is now full support for drag and drop between different apps using text, images, and links. There's also a new Flick keyboard for accessing special characters, and a big addition, a new Files app. This app gives one place for all of your files stored in iCloud and other apps like Dropbox. There's also an update for markup with the Apple Pencil. In Notes, your handwriting is now searchable. You have inline drawings, a document scanner, and screenshot markup. Now, the last thing Apple talked about is called the HomePod. This is a speaker for the home. It's covered in fabric, has a 7-array tweeter at the bottom, and a 4-inch subwoofer. It has an A8 chip to power it, and a 6-microphone array for talking to it. Apple's focus on this is high-quality audio and Apple Music, but it is controlled through Siri. And because of this, you have many different controls that you'd expect from a home assistant, and it has support for things like HomeKit. This HomePod speaker will be coming in December, comes in space gray and white, and will sell for $349. So that is everything Apple announced at WWDC 2017. There are things that Apple didn't talk about, so be sure.
Well, that gives you a quick shot at it. Let me, I guess I inadvertently muted all you guys, so hang on, I'm going to turn that back on again. So that was kind of interesting, I thought. We won't know anything when the developer previews become available for the second-tier developers. I'll probably download it to try it out, and if it's worth a darn, I'll talk about it next month or the month after, whichever, before we get a chance to get it. But that was kind of cool from that standpoint. By the way, this is what I was talking about, Bob, earlier. The flash drives. Yeah. I ran across this one here shows that their 64 gig is $975. Well, they had last week or whatever it was, they had the 128 gig SanDisk USB 3 drives for like $11 or $12, and I bought 2 of them. Like I said, I wish I'd have bought more, but because it works like a champ. I've now got that 50 gigs back on my primary solid state drive, and I've got 2 of these plugged into this laptop in the USB, since I'm using the Thunderbolt expansion on this laptop. These 2 little jobs just fit in those USB slots like they were there all along. One of them is Maverick, so I've got for be able to do iWeb updates. I can boot to that operating system, and the other one is my Photos backup. That idea works like a champ. It really does. Cool. If these deals, if I run across these deals again, I'll email it out to anybody who's interested.
That would be great.
So I see Janine's logged on, but either she hasn't got her audio going, or well, there she is. You're logged on twice, Janine. You're logged on through your iPad and also onto the Mac, I guess.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I couldn't get onto my main machine downstairs, so I ran upstairs to try and get here. Finally succeeded. I couldn't get the audio turned on, but finally. So should I go downstairs and quit out of that one?
No, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. All right. I'm glad to be here. Thank you. I've been looking forward to this.
Hey there, Janine. I see you made it.
Finally. Yeah. Just getting used to all this stuff. I had this thing about the Apple Pen. There's some on the screen, and I couldn't get rid of it.
There's
hey, Bobo made it.
No.
Hi, Mr. Reed.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Okie dokie. Who's that? Is that John? Hi, Guy.
Hi.
Long time no see.
Yeah, about a year, huh?
Oh.
I haven't seen you, John, for years.
I know. You're in Albuquerque now, huh?
Yeah, we escaped from California.
I know that. Yeah, I know you moved.
That is an escape as far as I'm concerned. You're right.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah. All right.
I like this online stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it really, Greg and I were back and forth, trying different things, and Greg found this Zoom.
Yeah.
It's cheap. I just paid for the year, and excuse me, or Greg paid for it, but I'm going to reimburse him. And it's been just great. I mean, look, we got 12 minus 2, 10 people already, and I'm going to try and get in touch with another Albuquerque friend right now. So, Greg, can you, let's see, maybe I can mute me.
You can mute yourself, yeah.
Here it is. Okay, I'll be watching, but I'll be trying to get another guy from Albuquerque.
Since you were mentioning flash drives, I've got this one that a friend of mine gave me. It's supposed to be a USB 3 that Apple sells. It's called the iEasy Drive. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, I haven't.
It's a 128 gig drive, and it's got the adapter so you can plug it into your iPhone. But they say it's USB 3, and it's also got USB 2 on this side. It won't connect to USB 3 on your computer because this has a little fold down on it to where it's got another connector for it. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but it's like a small USB 3, a mini USB 3 connection.
Huh. I got something like that before we went on our trip to Canada last October. That was a Lightning port on one end and USB 3 on the other end. So on the Mac, you would just plug it in and move you had to use their utility to make it work. But on the Mac side, you could just drag the files over. But when you plugged it in on the iPad or iPhone, you had to use their utility to transfer files back and forth. But it looks to me like Apple made the announcement that iOS 11, when it comes out in September, will have a file structure, so that you'll be able to not only see iCloud files, which you can see right now, but you'll see a file folder structure. You'll be able to create folders. You'll be able to nest folders. You'll be able to drag files in there. There'll be a recently used, I don't know whether you have some control over that or not, so that you'll have just one more way of seeing things. And so to me, that's going to make it a lot easier for transferring files back and forth if you can just literally drag and drop, which you can do right now, but you got to do it kind of third party with everything. And then we're getting a nice close up of Janine's bra. That's good. I like that, Janine. So.
Well, the other point I wanted to make with the drive was you can't. I reformatted it, but you can't install an operating system on it and have it work.
Oh, well, that might be. It might have. Yeah, it might. Like I said, these little SanDisk ones that I bought are bootable. That was the first thing I checked with them. So, I bought them solely for that reason. But I can understand a combination one like what you're talking about there. They might restrict it just for that because it might need their software to do everything. So who knows?
Right. Well, I finally got an iPhone this past week. It's an older one. It's an iPhone 6. But
works.
When I plugged it into it after doing that, it recognized it, but it said I needed their software. So it took me to the App Store, and I downloaded it, and it installed their application on it again.
Oh, there you go.
I had reformatted it, and it lost that. So. But since when I plugged it into the iPhone, it recognized what it was, and it took me to the App Store and reinstalled the application for it. It's called iEasy Drive.
Oh, cool.
Is what the name of the app is.
Now this, Frank, is what I got over at Fry's, if I can get it in front of the camera and not my picture. It's, I think, iConnect. The box is upstairs, and this is a 32 gig, and you can load stuff backwards and forwards, like with the utility.
Oh, there's 15.
And I keep it in my pocket now. I mean, say I'm at a computer lab or something like that, and I need something, it's right there. And this thing is nice because it folds back up like that. And
for storage, that's good. I like that.
I did have a cap on it, but I misplaced it. So
You can use it as a money clip.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Well, this goofy one that I bought, this is really stupid. Like I said, it's just a stick, like a stick of gum, and it's USB 3 on one end, and it's the Lightning on the other end. So on the Lightning end, they had an attached cap that hinged back out of the way. Okay, great. That's a great idea. On the USB 3 side, it was a cap that immediately you lost when you took it off. So why didn't the guys who invented this just made it some kind of a little rubber attachment or something like that where you'd always, because I mean, I think people probably make money just selling caps to cover USB 3 connectors.
Well, Greg, remember the fellow at the meeting when we had it at the one of the meetings at Costa Mesa that he brought a credit card with a flip out little thing to stick in the computer and have storage on it or video or whatever he had on it. It was really cool. But, it's one of those things that you have to have custom made.
Right.
Well, when does the show begin, Greg?
Well, I figured around 10, so I figured we could just kibitz a little bit. I figured we'd get a few more people.
Okay.
I'm surprised we haven't got Robert on this morning.
I'll see where he is.
Ray, did you get that email that I sent back regarding the BWF files? Ron. Sorry, not Ray. Ron. Sorry.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to look at any of the links?
Did you recently email me?
It was yesterday, I think. Yesterday afternoon, I think it was.
Okay, I did not see that. I've had some trouble with my email.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll send it again when we're done with the meeting here. I'll forward it again to you just in case.
Thank you.
Has anybody had any issues that we can discuss?
Yes.
What's going on, Janine?
Oh, I'm struggling with this. It's a security camera that I've been talking with Steve about. I finally got the security camera to work as long as it was next to the computer. When I took it to the far end of the house, then it couldn't find the server. So I thought, okay, I need to get an extension.
So it's Wi-Fi based?
Wi-Fi based, yeah. There is no US, no other kind of connector other than that. And so it is Wi-Fi. So I got a Wi-Fi extender. And that didn't work at all, and I lost the video. And yesterday I finally tried again. I rebooted basically the little camera after I unplugged the Wi-Fi. And I haven't had a chance yet to try doing the Wi-Fi again, but so far it's just a struggle.
Joe, we see that you're logged on, but we don't see a picture and we don't hear any sound. Joe Hansen? Oh, now you're muted. Okay, is that you, Joe?
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute. Did I make it?
Yeah, you're good audio-wise. We don't have a picture still, but you're good audio-wise.
That's fine. But there's a Post-it over the camera, so that's fine.
Oh, okay.
I muted my audio because I didn't want you to hear the sound of the microwave as I'm heating up a cup of coffee.
That's good. And then we've got Joan. Joan, I don't know if you're still with us or not. I see that you got a camera and a microphone, but we don't see a picture and we don't hear any sound from you. Are you there? Guess not. I think it'll take us about 5 years before we get this all figured out, but at least it's not costing us much, that's for sure. So, Surprisingly, when I switched over, in fact, it takes effect on June 18th when it moves to the yearly plan. I didn't realize an extra benefit, Steve, just to let you know, not only are we saving 2 months on the monthly charge, but it also increases our participants up to 100. So we don't have to pay extra for that. So that's good. So I think we're good for years the way this is going. So.
Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's the way I always.
That's true.
I contacted Robert. He said he's on the phone. He'll call me in a bit. And I just said, hopefully you can join the Zoom OACC meeting going on right now. So we will see. So we got 12 participants, it says. Where's
anybody else? I'd get back to you, Janine. Does the video seem to be working now?
Well, I got the camera up and running by itself, but I totally unplugged all the Wi-Fi extender pieces because I haven't tried the camera. I've been out of town, so I haven't tried the camera back at the place where I needed to be a security camera.
Don't worry. As soon as I find a ticket, I'll be up there. Didn't mean to catch up to me.
Where'd Greg go?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I
have
guess,
a quick.
Can I ask my question, Greg?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
Should I just go ahead and try to plug in the Wi-Fi extender again, and then see if I can get them on the same track, or do you think it's just not going to work?
I would think it would work no matter what.
All right. So I just have to work out. I'm not much
Now,
better.
are these airports that you're using? Is that an airport extender, or is it like a Linksys or something like that?
Not Linksys.
Netgear.
Netgear. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
That shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't really be an issue.
All right.
Well, she has a very interesting house, Greg. It's really long and two-story and all this jazz. And I told her, she can find a cheap fare. I'd be willing to go up and help her because
Sure.
I'm looking for a cheap fare. What's get you up here?
Well, if I didn't have so much money invested in airports, because I've gotten multiple ones around the house, and they seem to work okay. But if I was going to go do a new one today, I'd go with one of these mesh wireless systems, like I'm trying to think of the name of the company. I guess it's for about $400. You get 3 of these devices.
Is that
one
at
is
Costco?
I'm sorry?
Is that the one at Costco?
I don't know. I haven't been to Costco in a month or so.
Oh.
So it might be. It might be. There's 2 or 3 companies out there that have them, and they, according to Leo Laporte on Mac Break Weekly, they're like, it sees the other ones automatically and hooks everything up. So that's kind of nice. Everybody's raving about those. But if you've already got an investment in your airport stuff and it's working, why screw with it?
Yeah. Well, I try and use the airport stuff mainly because what I do is I don't take my computer with me anymore to people's houses. I can do everything right from the phone. I can do airport utility and everything. I don't have to have the computer around. So makes my job a lot easier.
Well, that's true, and we've mentioned many times in the past. It's free unless you're actively running a business with, and that's TeamViewer. And so one of the things I liked about TeamViewer was the fact that it's sort of like GoToMeeting. It's sort of not really. It's sort of like what iChat or Messages was when you tried to do a share screen. But the drawback to that always was it depended on how good the person who was doing the sharing, what their internet quality was like. So you can download this program called TeamViewer, and then if you got an issue, you can call me, say, Greg, I need some help, and you get on, and I'll start up TeamViewer. Everybody who gets TeamViewer gets a unique ID. That'll never change. every time you start TeamViewer up, you are assigned a unique password for that session. So consequently, if as an example, Janine was having an issue and it was something I could probably help her with, she might have to call me on the phone or FaceTime or whatever and say, Greg, have you got a few minutes to help me out with, and I'd say, yeah, go ahead and start TeamViewer up. Give me your user ID, because I don't write these down, and give me your password for right now. And that allows my Mac to connect up to hers and see what's going on. That works extremely well, and it's free. But one of the other features that TeamViewer has is called unattended access. So I've now got my Mac set up to come up in unattended access with a unique password. You have to set up an account at the TeamViewer site so they can for like two-factor identification, so they can really see that it's really you doing it, not somebody screwing around. And I can leave my Mac in the TeamViewer unattended access mode, and with my iPad or my iPhone, this sounds really weird, and obviously I want to be in a Wi-Fi area, but I can remotely connect up to my Mac through my iPad or through my iPhone and do stuff. I'm actually running everything on the Mac, but I'm just displaying it on the iPad or the iPhone, and that works extremely well. I'm really surprised, and it's a freebie if you're not using it for a business. Yes, Steve?
Excuse me. I don't know if that's what Mark, my son, is using, but he comes down to the kitchen table for dinner, and he has on his phone where he can go check the status of something he is running to see if it's finished or if it crashed or whatever. And so I got to find out from him what that is. But I'm writing that down, TeamViewer, because I really loved being able to help somebody by controlling their computer. I have a guy down in Dana Point, and he's always calling me about some little thing about his mail and his connection and his stuff. And I hate to charge him for a house call, but he's way down by PCH. And the thing is that, what was that one? iChat. iChat was so easy to use when, but you have to have an AOL identity.
Yeah, well, that's no big deal. It's not really America Online. It's just using their protocols. That's all.
Yeah.
See, Joan Nye keeps trying to get on, Greg, without a...
Yeah, I see that. Joan, do you hear us at all? I mean, I see you're being displayed as a user and you're connected up, but we don't see a picture, and we sure heck don't hear any sound from you. Well, I guess that's you right now coughing. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to go get some sustenance real quick and bring it right here, and I'll be right back.
All right.
Quick airport question.
Yeah.
Got the old one here. The green light blinks amber from time to time, and I just unplug it and plug it back in. But when it does blink amber, it doesn't seem to hamper the operation. What's going on with the amber blink?
I hate to admit it, Ray, but it's been such a long time since I've looked at that. I've got one of those also that I've looked at it, that I probably would have to do a Google search and look in the Apple database to find out exactly why. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure what that would be.
It works, and it's old, but like me, it works.
Well, I mean, that was in my case. I bought one of yours has got the hard drive built into it, so it's a time machine backup, a time capsule. And so I bought mine originally, 7 or 8 years ago, I guess, something like that, with like a 500 gig drive in it. And it was great for about the first year. Then I realized, God, I should have bought it with the 1 terabyte drive in it. And so it was already out of warranty. And I figured, well, what have I got to lose other than I was back on my old one. So I found online some information on how to tear the damn things apart. Well, the worst part is trying to get the rubber pad off the bottom. That came off in pieces, unfortunately. But I took it apart and put a 2 terabyte drive in its place, plugged it back in, and gosh, the damn system automatically updated itself and everything, and it worked like a champ until I went to one of the vertical versions. And the only reason I went to the vertical version is because I had upgraded the MacBook Pro, and it had the faster N communication, and my old time capsule was only B and C or B and G, and I wanted the faster access, and so I went to the newer time capsule, and the other one now is just being used as an extender up in the other end of the house, which I'm never up in that area anymore anyway. But stuff still works, so why argue with it if it still works?
Greg, question.
Yeah.
This is Chad over at South Coast Plaza in Costa Mesa. Listen, if I was going to put in video conferencing among a series of offices, and the offices would be in Honolulu, Panama City, here, and so forth, and I want to use live video conferencing on big screens, 6 feet or better, in every office, where I could have up to 12 offices connected with live video on large screens. Is there a dedicated program that does that, or this work? Zoom.
Actually, I would, Ted, I would go ahead and contact the Zoom people because they've got price packages for everything, and they can do, and they're Mac based. Now that doesn't mean it doesn't work on other platforms because we're using it on iPads, we're using it on iPhones, but I'd check and see what they've got first because they're certainly fabulous to deal with, and as cost effective or more cost effective than anything I've run across. I mean, we've played theirs, Robert, but we used GoToMeeting at Broadcom when I was still working for them, and we did it, around the world constantly, and it worked fine. But they were paying big dollars to be able to have that capability. So before I would check with, I'd either go with the Citrix or I'd check with Zoom and see what they offer for you first off.
All right, I'll give them a call.
Because knowing them, they may have a free version for you to play with.
All right, thanks for the input.
Yeah. Robert, how you doing today? Yeah, we see you. Do you have sound? Robert?
I just got sound just now.
Okay. There we go.
That's not my sound.
There's one of Steve's better pictures. We're just seeing the wall. I mean. Hey, we can make all the jokes we can when he's not here. So what the heck,
Virtual Steve.
Yes, but I heard you.
Yeah, he's back. He's back. Ah, darn.
Hey, Bob.
So,
can I break in a second?
Sure, go ahead.
I just want to talk to Bob.
Yeah, John.
How you doing?
Good. You?
Okay. I'm living in Kingman, Arizona now.
You escaped too from California.
Yeah, I escaped. Actually, I don't know if you knew, I moved to Nashville for 10 years.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and then I got tired of that, so we moved back to Las Vegas, and I stayed there 2 years, and I couldn't stand it anymore, so we moved down here to Kingman. It's a little bit quieter.
Yeah, nice area. Right.
Yeah. So are you living actually in Albuquerque or outside or how?
We're on the eastern slope above the city, about 1,000 feet above the city.
Right.
We're
I know I came through there when I moved from Nashville to Las Vegas, and you go down this hill like crazy somewhere in there. I couldn't figure it out. I think you drop about 500 feet or maybe even more.
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet on 40, huh?
Yeah, in fact, more than 1,000 feet from the top of Tierra Pass all the way to the base of the city.
Oh, okay.
The city is at 5,000 feet. We live at 6,000 feet.
Uh-huh. Now, we're only at 3,300 feet here, so...
Yeah.
I'm at 176.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's good to see you, Bob.
Okay, John.
Phone's ringing.
Somebody's phone's ringing. You might want to mute the sound. Robert, did you watch the Worldwide Developer Conference keynote Monday?
I have been overwhelmed. I missed it. I
used Apple TV last night, and they have one of their items.
Yeah, they have one for their conferences, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if you've got, you can either go to Apple's website and watch it there, or you can go on to, if you've got an Apple TV, you can watch the whole 2 hours or so on Apple TV, because they've actually got one for keynotes for all the press conferences that they do, that they make available to everybody. That's available on Apple TV as well, so you can see it on a bigger screen, which is kind of nice. But
I have done readings and have had discussions about it, but I personally did not watch it. Anybody has some issues or concerns or questions or big thoughts on that?
Okay, it's this next Saturday. Okay, here's Jim.
I wonder how the AFS, what do you call it, file system is going to affect older software.
Apple file system?
Yeah, but how that will impact some of our older software that we're still running successfully on Sierra.
That shouldn't be an issue, the file system itself. Do you think, Robert? I mean, right now, the iPhones and the iPads, if you've got the latest updates, you're running Apple file system on the iPhones and the iPads. iOS 10 has been updated to work with that. So that was kind of their test case, I see, and it was about as invisible as possible. Now, I don't think it'll be quite that simple when it comes to the Macs, but who knows? But go ahead, Robert.
Well, you're exactly right on, Greg. That file systems are up to sometimes a decade in the making. They're thought about, they're figured out, they're planned out, and the implementation is very slow rollout. File systems being critical to everything that goes on. And in fact, yes, the fact that it has happened on the iOS systems, iPads, iPhones, and we never even asked about it. It just happened, and there it was. It is there, and we don't even know it. Shows the beauty of a proper, intelligent implementation. And you take that the next step forward, going to the Macs. I don't think the average user will ever have a clue or knowledge that anything is different in any way, and this is including, speaking of the underlying code, the way the files and folders are being stored, because it's truly not a human interface issue. We don't see we typically don't see any direct aspects of the filing system, whether it's HFS plus or whatever it might be. As we move through the generations, we may see a new feature that is happening, but typically we really can't attribute that feature to the operating system. Somebody might tell us, "Oh yes, they can do that now," and so things we'll have the benefits of it, but we won't see it, watch it happen. One of the benefits of the new operating system is going to be what appears to be near instantaneous copies. So whereas right now we're seeing, when we're copying something, you're getting the time clock and it's spinning around and it's taking some time and we're watching all this. And some of that's going to disappear. And we could logically just say they've gotten smarter, hard drives are smarter, operating systems are faster, all that kind of thing. When in fact, yes, that feature is due to a new capability that has been designed into the operating system. But does that change our life? Do we have to do anything differently because it happens in near instantaneous time? No. We just say, "Oh, that's cool. I like that," and we move on. So Bob, while I appreciate your cause of concern, because we as techies kind of like to feel like we're a bit in control, it won't be anything we can be in control of. It's something we really won't have a choice for to a significantly large extent. I'm just going to work to be appreciative of the new features, things, and ways that it works that'll be there for the benefit of all Apple users, whether it be iOS or OS Mac.
I was reading that the new file system will encrypt files automatically. I don't know how that competes with File Vault, but
File Vault is so dangerous.
I agree.
It just, I mean, because I've had people and they said, I didn't know what File Vault was. And it's like, you try and recover people's stuff and it's murder. And the thing is that how much stuff do we really need to encrypt? Like, for instance, here's what happened. I changed to a iPhone 6 and I had backed up my previous one, and when I went to transfer everything back to the new phone, it said, oh, put in your password. I said, I didn't put a password, and so Mark and I tried time and time again with all my usual passwords and stuff and got nowhere. Finally, I just gave up and started new. It just really is. Now, mind you, I'm talking about two different things. The File Vault is not the same as what they use encryption on the phone. So it works a little differently, but you got to just be careful because once your stuff you heard about that WannaCry hack? I mean, it's almost like that, It's like unless you put in that right password, man, you're screwed.
Well, we totally discourage our people from using File Vault for all the reasons you stated.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people, Bob, who do use File Vault, to be honest with you.
Well,
How about you, Robert? What are your feelings on File Vault?
Any kind of encryption methodology has potential for what we might consider disastrous results. And that is where we're unable to access our own stuff. Our own stuff, we can't get to it. Nobody wants to be in that situation. And to that end, we really need to always recognize that our first and foremost responsibility is to quote a backup. And the backup that is in a way that we're covered. Now, when I go to speak to backups, Steve's speaking to the fact that, well, it asked for a password and he didn't know what the password is, or he probably didn't have a password. Well, since Steve's not listening at the moment, what we have to recognize is there's a lot of people that don't realize that they're setting a password, forgot that they set a password, forgot what they set the password to be, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's because we get older, Robert.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dementia is setting in.
Yeah, but the point is, there's always going to be those situations. But let's put those aside because the reality is any system can break, and so File Vault can and has not always worked for everyone. I won't be attempting to defend it on that matter. But I do know that it's like anything that happens that's not bad. It spreads like wildfire and all that kind of stuff. But on the other side, do I use File Vault? No. Why? Because I don't need it. I don't feel that I have there's any reason to put myself at risk for it. I don't have anything I'm worried about people grabbing, etc. So I've not opted to tread in those bloody waters. So again, you use it if you need. I recommend for people who have a need for high security to use it, but to accompany with a proper backup in case there's a problem. But what brought that up here, though, was the encryption. Speaking of the disk encryption or such of the new operating system, I am going to comfortably go down that path because I know in the same way that the phone's operating system and the phone operates in an encrypted manner, I think the Mac OS computers will operate in a more secure, encrypted manner, and in one that I'm not going to worry about because it's being handled in a way that the world will be safe and such.
Robert?
Yeah.
One thing is, talking about all this backups and stuff, I can't believe how many people I get their computers. I say, do you have a time machine backup? A what?
Yeah.
And I tell people, I says, when you bring your computer in, you go over to Costco or Best Buy and buy a 1 terabyte at least. And Mark and I saw at Costco the other day an 8 terabyte for under 150.
I'm surprised that you don't have on the shelf, maintain a min-max system of hard drives so you can hand over to your clients at a little bit of cost plus, or say you don't, and be a bit of a salesman. I mean,
you mean like having it so where they can back up on this?
No. I'm saying grab one off the shelf, and when they say no, they don't, they say, okay, you've got to have this, and hand it to them.
Yeah, I see what he's saying. You got to buy a spare, Steve, and carry it with you, and be willing to sell it to him right there on the spot.
Yeah, but the thing is usually, there's a lot of things I should do, like put all the different cables in boxes, those clear shoe boxes, put them in the trunk. And invariably, once in a while, I need them. But the thing is that the reason I went away from selling them is, number one, I got to track sales and pay taxes. Other thing is, people have this thing that you touched it, therefore you're responsible.
That's true. He's got a point.
Wait a second.
He's got a point, because they'll call you before they'll call the retailer.
Robert,
I'm sorry.
Okay, let me finish. And so what happens is, for the money, it bothers me that if I charge $95 for a drive that I get for $50, and that's a fair markup. The thing is then they see Costco or Best Buy and they say, oh, geez, or when I do it, I tell them the price and they tell me that they've already seen it before I offer that to them. So the main thing is, I don't want the responsibility that you have to straighten it out for them if they're having a problem without, paying for it. And
there you go, Steve. Here's what you need to do: is you need to put a label maker on the brand of the drive, call it the Spiegel drive or something like that, with bonus features that it's got involved. Give them some freebie third-party utilities or whatever it is, and that way you can get away with it. So they have nothing to do a direct comparison to.
Okay, John, what?
Just go to Fry's and buy your stuff, because normal people don't go in there anyway.
Yeah,
you got a point.
God.
Hey, I wanted to ask a question. What about iCloud backups?
What about it? I use it.
This is a great question here, because I was delayed here getting on here. My son had called me this morning, and I couldn't get him off the phone. He was wondering. He bought a recent portable, has tons of live photos on there. The photos are larger than he wants on that drive. He needs to free up some space. I'm talking about iCloud photo storage. And all of this is, whether we're storing photos or whatever we're storing, it is the solution that we need to be more aware of. And I'm sure that I've missed lots of talks where Greg or others have spoken about exactly how it all works. But the fact is that not with intention, not with ill thought. Apple's portable computers, any manufacturer's portable computers, are never going to be, hard drives are never going to be large enough to store all of our pictures, because our cameras take amazing pictures and we put that button, we don't press for film, we don't press for processing, so we've got tons of pictures. And our hard drives fill up, and not only do we not need to carry the photos around with us, but we also will not, as we've just been talking here, we have no backup of our hard drive on our computer automatically, instinctively, naturally guaranteed. So the iPhone, for instance, again, the iPhone Photo Cloud Library, as I was speaking with my son, is extremely valuable to not only offload the weight of carrying all of those photos with you on your portable, but it also guarantees you a backup, and a secure backup. The one question that my son was asking that, I'm not an artsy-fartsy person, is he says, okay, after I've turned on iCloud and everything else, can I then delete them from my computer?
Oh, God. What do we always say, Robert? One place is not a backup.
Well, of course. And he had a time capsule, and he can copy it over the time capsule and all that. And Apple is pretty good about, if you delete it from here, you're going to delete it from all devices.
Yeah, that I don't like.
And so, but Steve, you and I are in this place where we really don't fully appreciate and understand the way it all works, because the iPhoto library, iCloud library is designed to be able to hold a humongous amount of stuff that is not taking up a lot of space on all of our devices. I mean, that's certainly part of its design.
Well, Robert, the thing is when I was helping people over at Laguna Woods or Leisure World, they'd ask questions about iCloud, and I'd say,
Greg, are we allowed to be eating in the meeting?
Hey, food or drink near your computers. You put that on your computer. But the thing is I tell them, no, I don't. And basically, not because I don't trust it or anything. It's just I am so boggled for time that I got to sit down sometime quietly and to learn it. My son will teach me that part because he's on it all day. I mean, the computer. And just recently, he's been bugging me, Dad, get off the Mac Pro with 10.6.8. And he says, you have some 27-inch iMacs. He says, let me set you up and get your stuff transferred and all this stuff. And so I finally agreed. And the last computer I worked on for a lady, she said, I got to get a backup of all my photos and stuff. Well, I went and checked the photos, and she's got 10 or 15 photos of the same shot. And I says, you've got to take and narrow it down. Don't wait till one day you're going to need to do it. Just do it, like every Friday.
Greg, has Steve forgotten or was he not listening? Did you fully cover iCloud photo sharing?
Oh, I'm sure I have it multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah. Just tell me what date. I'll go look at our video.
Let's. Well, Greg, first off, do we have a moderator? Is anybody back there watching the show of hands when we vote and poll and all that kind of stuff?
I've got I'm using my iPad as a second screen here with my laptop, and I've got the member list up here, and I've been sending messages to Mario. I said hello, and to Larry and a couple other people. So I've got both those screens kind of off on the right-hand side so I can see what's going on.
Because I'd like to get a raise of hands here for those that would like to have a session from Greg showing, for instance, just talking about photos and iCloud sharing. And
what about Robert?
Yeah.
Greg,
there's a raise of hand. There's a raise hands in the participants thing. If you click on the participants icon on the bottom of the screen, perhaps it may be there. It'll show everyone that's here. And if you raise your hand, Bart's raised his hand. I've raised my hand. We're all stepping back, and Greg's stepping forward because he's the smart guy on this stuff and eloquent.
One thing I wanted to say, I with 2 iPads and a phone and everything, I use my 5 gigabytes up of iCloud real fast. So now I'm paying Apple 99 cents a month for 50 gigs of storage.
Okay, hang on a second, Mario. Did you want to share your screen? Is that what you're trying to do?
The wrong button.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm trying to get
back to Zoom something.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, we talked about that briefly with my son because we talked about the cost of the hardware, of buying your own hardware at home, getting it set up, maintaining it, and just putting all of his pictures on his time capsule is great. But now he doesn't have a backup as soon as he removes them from his computer. And so it's important not just to have it on this device, but on a second device. And the cost of the hardware, plus the cost of keeping it all tracked and stored and everything else, is significant. Mm-hmm. And photo libraries are something that, wouldn't it be nice to really be able to have access to this from anywhere we are, regardless of whether if it's an iPad or whatever it is. I think the iPhone photo sharing is one of those services that, I'll be darned, it really probably is very cost effective to do.
Oh yeah, Robert. That's one thing is you can leave stuff there, and if you're out on the road or you're at a client's and you say, oh, here's this, and you pull it down, you could do the same thing with a stick, but the thing is this way you don't have to fiddle with that. Let me see. I just had a thought and it went. It'll take me 2 minutes to figure out what I was going to say.
He's got a reboot. Sorry, guys. He's got a reboot.
I know what it was.
We're going to buy him some lead pencils.
I found out you were talking, Robert, about having Greg talk about the oh shit.
Brain fart.
The cloud. This is driving me nuts. I'm new to this forgetting certain words. It's really driving me crazy. But the thing is, I found on Apple's website, if you go to the stores, they do a lot of things differently. They don't let you pick your own date or however it works. I mean, you used to be able to pick your date and time, and I went one time. I was at.
You're talking about for like a Genius session, right?
South Coast Plaza. I was having lunch, and there was no open Genius slots at South Coast. But I said, okay, check the surrounding stores. And Irvine popped up with a 3:00 appointment that somebody had canceled. I slipped my thing in there and grabbed it. And then I got in the car and I drove down the freeway and talked to the guys in Irvine. But the other thing I found lately is we used to have classes there and one-on-one and all these other things. Well, they have a deal now where they have like you come in for training or a little session, and it's done on different topics. And you sign up for the class, and it costs you $0. But the thing is you say, I want to get some training on iCloud to understand it and to ask questions and stuff like that. And you just go to their site, go to stores, pick the store that you want to, and then it will keep, like say, Orange County. It'll keep all the surrounding stores all the way out to Los Cerritos and as high as Brea. And so you sign up for that, and it's really great because, you just sign up for it and appear. Show up.
But live in Shady Cove. There's no way there's anybody near anywhere.
Oh, yes. We know that. Find the ticket.
I'm looking.
I know.
Greg, what amount of time would it take to put aside for just the basics of acknowledging that we want it to be up there, and then the steps or how to best understand how to delete from a local device without deleting?
Yeah, no problem. I'll put something together for next month on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I that too.
Okay, well, it's after 10. Shall we go ahead and start with the affinity thing that I was going to talk about?
Sure. Oh,
Greg,
Greg, one second. I had one thing I got in my mail the other day, and it was from eFax. It said it was from eFax. and it said, "Here's a phone number. It's a fax from this phone number," and you go down and you click the blue box, and it says, download or read or whatever. And I says, "Ooh, this looks like a scam problem," And I said, I've got the thing and I was going to show it, but I can wait till later to show what it looks like.
No, if you want to go ahead and show it now, let's do it.
Okay, how do I go to my computer?
On your screen, there's an option that says share screen.
Share screen. Oh, there it is. Okay.
And then you pick whatever you pick whatever you're going to share, and you've got it.
Here we go. Gotcha. Okay.
I like this. That's
Cool. It is really cool. Chrome effects. Voice message here. What? Visual voice message. Oh, okay. Chrome, where did it go? Well, I'll find it. We'll do it after the presentation. Okay.
Okay. So go back and click on stop sharing.
Stop sharing. There. Oh, up there. God, I wish they'd make it pulse or something so it's at the bottom, it's on the left, it's on the right. It's like, okay, go for it, guy.
All right.
Whoops. Wait, one question.
Go ahead.
I need to know how to change my modem setting. It says it's at something, it's dangerous. It's a WEP, I think, and I don't know how to change it.
Robert, what was the deal with WEP and WPA? One's worthless and one is real good. You know which one is what? Well, it's not real good, but it's good enough.
Right.
I change it. I don't know how to change it.
Well, just
curiously here, what are you trying to? Why do you feel something needs to be changed?
Because it's told me that when I was setting up that little camera, it said that it was very weak encrypted, and I needed to change it to something too.
Okay. You have. Are you talking about the camera that
when I was trying to set up
being used here for Zoom?
No, she's talking about a security camera that she purchased.
Yeah, and when I was setting it up, it told me that my encryption was so very weak that anybody could tap into it, and it gave me the name of something that I didn't write it down yet.
Okay,
but
all
I
right.
needed to change it. I don't know how to do that, and I don't want to interrupt the session now. But I just need.
That's right. Okay. Well, the quick answer is things are backwards, such that alphabetically, the WEP is the latest one. Okay. It started, the WPA was the previous one.
All right.
We're now at WEP, so it kind of goes.
I think that's wireless encryption protocol. I think that's what that means.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was WPA. I just don't.
What did you say, Greg?
I think WEP is wireless encryption protocol. Or
It's
protection.
actually it's wired equivalent privacy.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's close.
Good.
Got the wired part right.
Yes.
It really would have been. It really wouldn't matter because people don't often care. But anyways, having said that, WEP is the latest.
Web's the one to go with if you can.
Right. In general, it's not something that I'm hearing maybe my own voice back here.
Yeah, I am.
In general, it's not something I would worry about on a day-to-day basis. Once if you've done any type at all, then you're not going to be obvious to the person who wants to play around and look and see. If you're truly going to, let's say you're going to Starbucks and you're wanting to get online with your. Pardon me?
I don't do that.
Okay. If you're going to a public place and trying to get online, you definitely want to think about security in real ways, because want methodology for getting on is important. In general, most of these securities, for instance, if you're setting up a camera at home to be able to monitor your house.
Right. That's what I'm trying to do.
And you're trying to do it and be able to see it when you're not there.
Yeah.
This kind of thing is what the reasons why you would want security is because you want a system that is not going to be able to be taken over by bad guys, by bots.
Right.
And those kinds of things, they're not breaking through WEP or WPA security or anything of that sort.
Okay.
Those things are going for default passwords.
Oh, okay.
They're going for FTP servers that are not able to be, that are not properly working as a security person would want them to be. But it's not the level of security, it's not the WP versus WPA that's causing a camera to be weak or not. It is the system where it has a password and the manufacturer doesn't even allow you to change the password. So everybody in the world uses the same darn password for this camera. Those are the areas that you just want to stay away from because you are doing the world a disfavor.
So, Robert, there was an article that I didn't read the whole thing, but I knew what it probably said. And they were down on the wireless cameras versus the wired. And the reason is because somebody can get into your network if it's not properly protected and see what you're able to see. The one occurrence that I saw was a baby. Somebody had a baby monitor, and somebody got into their thing, and they were screaming and boo boo, and the little kid, was traumatized.
Well, okay, we're being a little overly dramatic when we see articles of that sort, because those articles get people's attention. But the reality of whether that is the area that we really want to maintain or be concerned about, not really. But more to your point, very specific, is wired versus wireless. There is no difference. There's no difference for your concern of wired versus wireless. Let's say, I mean, as Steve was hearing the article was speaking, that the wireless cameras are more dangerous.
Susceptible.
Whatever. The only change there is that theoretically somebody outside your house could get on your wireless network and go in and see this wireless activity. But let's take that back to the beginning. If you have a proper and a reasonable password on your wireless network, and you're using WEP, which every router is automatically going to take you to, you've got zero real concern for somebody getting onto your wireless camera.
Well, Robert,
let's talk about the camera per se, wireless versus wired. If it's wirelessly connecting to your network, that's just an ease of connection issue in the reality. If it's wired, it's more, it is faster, and it's a more consistent connection. But what we're looking at really, the problem is somebody in China, I'll pick a country, somebody in China over the internet being able to do exactly what the manufacturer is thinking, you've told the manufacturer you want to do, that when you're in Nevada, you want to be able to go and see inside what's going on in your house. Well, right. Camera doesn't know whether you're in China coming to your house or Nevada coming to your house. Whether it's wired or wireless doesn't change. How the images got to the internet or to your router doesn't matter. If somebody in China or somebody in Nevada, somebody in Nevada can see it, then somebody in China can see it.
Right.
So the wireless versus wired for a home camera, put out of your mind, is making a difference. It doesn't matter. It got onto your internet in some way. Now that it's there, are the images sitting at the router, and is your system such that somebody can go to your router and see stuff on your network, however it got there?
I understand, but the message is WEP is not considered secure. Configure the router to use WPA2 personal security type. And I don't have a clue.
That's the reverse of what Robert said.
Correct.
I know. That's what. Yeah, I'm
So,
really.
Can I look that
Greg,
up?
what was the name of that program again for sharing screens? Mr. Greg?
TeamSpeak.
TeamViewer?
TeamViewer,
Yeah,
okay.
TeamViewer. Excuse me. Can I say something real quick
Sure,
on
go
the web
ahead.
thing?
Yeah.
I was reading about it, and not all routers have the new version of it. It depends on the version of your router and what firmware it has.
Oh.
Yeah, but usually the manufacturer posts things about it, or you can go to their site and see if there's any firmware updates. I've had that even with Apple. They say, oh, you go to the App Store and go for updates, and it'll have a 1 or 2 or whatever, and one of those being an airport firmware update. And usually it will not let you, when you're setting up, it will not let you proceed until you do the update.
Oh, okay. I've got to back up and Gina, you are correct. I did reverse them in my mind. The WEP is the weaker. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Let's all take away the methodology. I was thinking of another issue.
I just don't know how to change it. I'll change it if I knew how to get
No. WPA is going to be the stronger.
Okay.
And in fact, there's a WPA2. But point is, the W. But again, I'm not. This is something that I don't spend a whole lot of time on, because it really doesn't matter as long as I see that the equipment in a client's place is using encryption, WP, WPA, whatever it is. They are better off than 99.9% of everybody else who chooses to not use encryption. Because the beauty of it, the reality of our world is today, that any kind of equipment you buy is automatically going to be using encryption. It just is. And whatever it is, you are fine. What people have the ability to do is to open it up and not make use of it because they don't understand it, instead of just letting it happen and all that and mucking with it. But which one you use is not going to make you any real difference. It really is. Now,
okay.
If you have a desire to use the best, absolutely. Jump up there and use WPA2 and create a VPN and do all of these different things and use Tor for a browser. There's a lot we can do if our thing is security. If that's what makes us be able to sleep at night, go for it. If you are comfortable knowing that unless somebody purposefully desires to attack you and spend a lot of time attacking you, if you're not worried about that, you are safe.
No, I'm in a very isolated area here, so I'm really not. It's just that I don't know what the process is.
Janine, don't worry, because now that Greg gave me the deal about TeamViewer, I will get that on my computer. I'll show you how to get it on yours.
All
and
right.
I can help you from here.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not something
thank you all.
Maybe not. Maybe I won't have to fly up there.
Yeah, you're going to have to fly up because I need you to fix my monitor.
All right, are we ready to go?
She just
Yes.
listens.
Yep.
Or you use DNC, Steve.
DNC?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask my son about that.
That's the screen share built into the Mac.
Okay, I'll look into that. Okay,
That's what I use when I'm.
I'm gonna turn off my. I'm gonna mute my.
While Greg is getting ready, VNC, Victor Nancy Charlie, is for virtual networked computing. All right.